Welcome guys to the new masterclass. Oh my gosh, it's been a journey. For those that don't know, for those that are brand new or you've probably heard of this, you've heard of the masterclass and you're like, what is this and how is this different? A little background. When I very first did the masterclass, I was 7.5 months pregnant with my daughter. I was very, very pregnant. I was basically too fat to go out and do anything and to work with the horses, like sitting down and getting up sucked. And it was in the middle of winter. And I had been campaigning this work really, really hard. I hadn't even called it BTMM yet. Yeah, I would think I was just calling it like training for soundness. And we were talking a lot about nerve compression. At the time, nobody was talking about nerve compression. Everybody thought I was crazy, but they couldn't deny the results that we were getting, which was really cool. So anyway, I didn't have anything better to do. And I was like, okay, lots of people are asking questions and I don't really know that I have all the answers yet, but I'm going to try. And so I did a Facebook Live because that was the thing to do back then. I had no idea. I hadn't even done a Zoom session. I had not even done a Zoom meeting at that point in my life. And so I did a Facebook Live in a private group, charged like $150 for it. And yours truly sat there for 3.5 hours, 7.5 months pregnant, did not take a pee break, and answered all the questions. And it was so fun. It was so fun. It was so good. I figured only like 30 people were going to show up for it. I think we had close to 200 on the first call. And then it was such a hit that they were like, you got to have replays. And I heard about this. Would you do replay? And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do that. And so we did a replay, and this was all in like a private Facebook group because that was the only way that I knew how to do a Facebook Live. So we did that, and it was really cool. But then it like started blowing up, and I don't know if you guys have ever been in a Facebook group, but it just gets like inundated with questions and comments and requests, and I would log in, and there would just be like picture after picture after picture and question. And I was like, oh my God, what did I do? Like, I don't know what I did. So anyway, we ran with it, and I accepted any help that I could get from the beginning. And I was like, yeah, like anybody that wants to try to learn this and represent it and answer questions, like, so I like kind of started mentoring a little bit, and it was just chaos. It was chaos. And then 2 months later, I had a baby, but it was bigger than ever. So I'm postpartum. I have this baby. We also have a ranch. I have 2 other children. I have 3 kids total. And my husband's a godsend and an angel, but my gosh, this was like crazy. So then I think the next thing that happened is I had this really weird thing happen where people that I had never met, that had never taken a lesson with me, but they watched the Facebook Live, they started offering BTMM clinics. And I was like, see, my toxic trait is I assume other people would like behave the way that I do. And when they don't, I'm like, wow, I don't know what to do with that. I was homeschooled. So anyway, this kind of kept happening. And I was like, well, here's the deal. Like with this stuff, like I have it broken down and structured in a way that like it builds on one another, but it builds on one another when the horse is developed to do so. Like you don't want to add more strength training on something that's not stable. And if these people don't understand that, like it's not good, right? Like you're going to hurt horses with it. So my kickback to that was like, okay, well, if I have my own apprentice program, if I have my own trainers that like I sign off on, then people will know. So we built a website, and I picked some people to apprentice. And I'm like, if you're on the website, then you're mine. And if you're not on the website, you're not mine. And that is true to this day. So if you're ever going around anybody and you're just like, oh, this person's a BTMM trainer, even if they used to be a BTMM trainer, not everybody worked out. So if you have any questions ever, go on the website. If they're not there, they're not there anymore. They don't represent this because of change in ethos, or they never did, or whatever the case may be. So saying that for what it is. Anyway, the whole thing with the masterclass was incredible, and I'm so proud that it went as good as it did, but I had no idea. I had no idea that it was going to blow up the way that it did. And so over the years, I've always been like, man, if I would have known, I'd have done it different. And I would have restructured it. I would have made it a little bit better, a little bit easier to navigate and go through. And every time I would start to redo it, I would feel a little like imposter syndrome. Like I wasn't good enough. Like I hadn't learned enough yet to really do it. And to be honest, I still haven't learned enough. I still don't think I know enough things. But I've taught enough to know that I know enough that it's worth at least bringing it out and putting it out to the world. And so when I thought about how I would do it all different, if I would have known what I know now, that's where we're at today. That's why I did this. So this platform is the same. The Mighty Networks is the same. The lessons that I put inside of here are broken down in a way to make it really, really, really simple and digestible for people to understand. It's not just a breakdown of the pillars, it's a breakdown of the horse itself. So we start out with our training scale. And that one was important to me because I took the traditional, like the old German training scale, which has been around forever. And even if you're not a dressage rider, this training scale has trickled down. I mean, I remember in barrel racing, like we would talk about it. So it's so influential and it's so good and it has so much merit. And there are certain things about the order that goes into that I don't think is always beneficial to our modern horses and what they're dealing with. So we created a BTMM training scale where we just kind of thoughtfully look through the history of the different things that we look at for horses and for training and for development. And we're trying to put them in a gentle order that makes it way more accessible. Really, like, how do we get these classical principles, but we apply them for our modern horses that are struggling with just very different things than the horses back then did. So we start with that. It goes into an introduction about me and the horses that helped me find BTMM. If you're interested, you don't have to listen to that one. But then it moves on to the rest of the lessons and it talks about the natural horse, like what is the horse as a species? A lot of us don't even really know that. We don't take that into consideration. What does horses being in captivity do to their bodies? What does it do to their nervous system? And then we talk about conformation versus posture because that's huge and very, very important for people to know. So there's a whole lesson on that. There's a lesson on nerve compression and how I kind of go about finding that and like what my thoughts are around it. And then how the nervous system organizes itself, because that's very important because so much of posture and development. And then, of course, going into the nerve compression is dependent on the horse's nervous system in and of itself. I've been teaching on the nervous system for like a decade now. And again, I love that it is becoming like more and more people are talking about it. And I think that's great. And there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of like, they're kind of getting it, but there's other things going on here. And so I think it was really important for me to like do a whole thing on it. And then we talk about the anti-gravity system and the pillars and give you like a solid breakdown of that so you really understand what's going on in just a much more in-depth way. I'm really proud of all of it. I've spent a lot of time doing dissections, working with incredible anatomists who I very deeply respect, going to universities, talking to professors, throwing myself at people and hearing when I was saying things wrong and having them lovingly take me under their wing and be like, I see what you're doing. Let's go. When I first started out talking about these things, you know, I'm a trainer and I'm a horseman. And then I became a body worker to be a better horseman, but I was never an anatomist. I was not an educator at all. None of this comes easy or natural to me. I've had to work really, really hard at it. I still think I suck at it, but I've been told I'm okay at it. So I keep trying. But there was a lot of things in the beginning that the conclusions that I was coming to weren't necessarily correct, or I was saying the wrong muscle, or I was saying the wrong attachment, or, you know, the verbiage wasn't right. The academic side of things was not correct. And so for a while I would go through a lot of like cyberbullying and having people just be like, you're wrong. And she's an idiot and she's saying things wrong. Thankfully, I was born and raised in Hawaii and I have kind of thick skin. And I was like, okay, here's the deal. I am so fine with being wrong. Like if presented with enough facts and evidence, I would burn all of this to the ground and be like, yeah, I was wrong. I have no problem with that. But where I will stand firm on is like, at this point, like you can't tell me that it doesn't work, because it works really well most of the time for most horses across the world, and not just by me. Like, it's repeatable. People that were listening to the pregnant lady talk for 3 hours on a Facebook Live turned around and had incredible success with their horses. So you can't tell me that it doesn't work. You can tell me that I'm saying it wrong. And so I would kind of kick back to these people and be like, okay, if I'm saying it wrong, then what's happening? And they couldn't give me that. So then I just kept saying the things because I was like, I'll change when somebody can tell me what's actually happening. And over the years, I finally found some really incredible people that were like, hey, think it might be this. You're saying this. I see where you're going at, but like actually look at this and see how this is working. And that's been incredible and life-changing. So as you go through the lessons, you'll hear me be like, this is what I used to think. Here's kind of what I think now. This is what I used to say, but then I learned about this. This is what I'm saying now. So I'm very transparent as I go through the lessons, kind of explaining those things. And that's important because we're constantly growing. Like, And science is even evolving. Like things that we think are facts now, science is probably going to disprove itself in another 5 to 10 years. That's just kind of how it works. But the techniques have never changed. And that's what I love. So even though I've changed the verbiage, and even though I might teach it in a little bit of a different way, and there are some things that I've broken down way better now that I've gone out and I've taught enough, and I've been like, this is where some people have a lot of hangups. I'm going to come back. I'm going to dial that back a little bit more, break it down a little bit more. Those things have changed, but the pillars themselves, the order that they go in, the way that it progresses, none of that's changed. That's still the same, which I love so much. And I think that that speaks a lot to the work. So that's where we're at with this one. And then from there, once you get through all of the new masterclass material, then we go into the foundations. And foundations was really important for me to do because this was when people have issues with pillar one, which I think everybody should be able to learn and understand and do with their horses. I would go out to clinics and I would meet people that are like, hey, yeah, I've been working on pillar one for like 8 months. And I'm like, should have been progressing by now. And also, that's not pillar one. Their horse isn't in pillar one. Which, I always take for myself to be like, okay, like I didn't explain this well, or I didn't break this down enough. So like, how can I go back and fix this? And I didn't know for sure. So I just kept clinicking and gathering data. And I have apprentice trainers that are incredible, and they clinic, and we have team meetings after, and we talk. And what we found out was the reasons why people were struggling so much with pillar one was that they didn't have a good foundational relationship with the horse. The horse wasn't okay and didn't feel safe in its body, which is precedent for pillar one. They also didn't have good signals to the gear. So understanding like genuine signals to the contact with the halter. And this seems like a very like duh kind of a thing. Like when I say that to people, they're like, well, yeah, of course. But it's really hard to do this with your horses. Like it's actually like it takes glacial patience. Unless you're like me and you're just very curious and you think that this is like the coolest thing ever. So it does take a lot of work. And I think a lot of people think that their horses are further along in, frankly, halter training than they are. And so I created a foundations course to go along with this for you guys, so you can really understand what we start with neutral touch, then we go into signals of the gear. And it's just your basics like up, down, left, right. But without those two things, and you'll learn about it too, like as you go through the masterclass and you really come to understand the nervous system and how it's so integrated into the body. Once you go through all of that and you get into this section, it's just going to make more sense. It's so cool. And don't skip it. Take the time, go through it. Once you've gone through that and you're like, my horse has it, like we're good. We're good neutral touch, we up, down, left, right. Like horses are awesome with that. Here's where it gets really cool. Should you want to do this? You don't have to do this. This is not a requirement. You can take the old material. You can take the material through the masterclass. You can take all of the bajillions of podcasts that I've done, and you can put this work together and you can go out and go play with it. Or if you want to have I want to know for sure what I'm doing, and I want to go through this path, like nitty gritty, and like know for sure what I'm doing. We created a pathway with the rest of this, which I'm so proud of. I've never done how-to videos on any of them, really. There's been like a couple little example videos here and there, but I've never done like really a breakdown of them because I wanted it to be theory. I wanted people to understand, and then I wanted people to book lessons or come to clinics. Because I know, because I understand development of the horse, that the individual development of every horse is very different. Their nervous system is very different. The way that they're organizing their body, their laterality or asymmetry can be very different. And so you can't just give blanket exercises out because each individual horse might be a little bit different. I'll go to a clinic and I'll have 10 horses and I will teach 10 horses pillar one 10 different ways, and it will look a little different for each one. Their positioning of it will be a little different. And until you really understand that, it would shatter me for people to go out, take the things and do it on horses that weren't developed. And that's happened before, and it's happened a ton, and it would just happen a ton more if I just gave those exercises out. And it would have been easy for me to put them all in a book, put them in a DVD, slap a thing on it and sell it just like everybody else with their like 101 exercises and blah, blah, blah. Like I could have done that. And I didn't want to because I really didn't want to hurt the horse. And I've received a decent amount of kickback because of that. And I've received more so than the kickback. I've received a lot of respect for that. And I'm really proud of myself for that. And I'm really, really grateful for those of you that have kind of like stuck around and been like, yeah, no, you did the right thing. This is good. I'm glad that you did that. So my answer to that question is what we've done with this pathway. If you really want to go through and you want to know, I have made very detailed lessons, very detailed lectures, and very detailed how-to videos for you on pillar 1, on pillar 2, on static pillar 3. And I wasn't going to say this because I don't want to give myself more work, but I also would like to continue building in this exact thing. And I want to put in the lunging cohort, and I want to put in a little stuff under saddle. I want to put in the bare bones basics that I think everybody should know on how to develop this work. And we're going to put it behind a little bit. We are going to gatekeep it a little bit in the sense of I want to make sure that the horses are good. So when you get done with foundations, if you're like, I want to do this for realsies, what you'll do is you'll finish your foundation stuff. When you feel like your horse is ready and they're all good with neutral touch and they're all good with signals to the gear, then you're going to book a proctor exam with one of us. We're going to keep them very affordable. You're going to hop on a little proctor exam via Zoom. If internet service is an issue for you, we can make some adjustments and we can maybe do it like via video submittal, but for the most part, it'll be over a one-on-one so we can talk to you too. You'll hop on, you're going to do a little test run. You're going to show us where you're at. If your horse is truly good with that, truly good with that, then pillar 1 automatically unlocks for you. You don't have to pay anything else for it. It's going to be inside of here, and you get all of those lessons and all those details. Then you're going to do the same thing when your horse is good with static and dynamic pillar 1, and you're able to do the things that we kind of show you in all of those lessons. You're going to book a proctor again. Pillar 2 unlocks, rinse, repeat for everything else. The other thing about this that's really cool is that you're going to get to have your horse is going to be certified in it. So every time you take a horse through, your horse is going to end up being certified in pillar 1, certified in pillar 2, which means, I mean, I'm not trying to like brag or whatever, but when I sell horses, or if I have a client that's selling horses and that horse has been through the program and the horse is like signed off with the pillars, they get a lot more money for them. And it's really cool to see like how much of a draw that is for people. So we thought it would be really cool to have like the shiny pieces of paper to be like, your horse got certified in pillar 1 and got certified in pillar 2. And it's, you know, so on and so forth. And you can take as many horses as you want through. It's really cool. But that way, to me, I've been able to turn it into essentially a school. I used to do martial arts, and I was like, you know, we kind of did this like running through the belt system. So you learn it and you practice it and you get skilled at it, and then you test, and then you test out. And then if you test out into that, then you get to learn the other stuff. But you don't get to learn the other stuff until you're solid. And so I feel really good about for the horses. And I really, really hope that you do too. So if you want to go through that, that's available to you. If you don't want to go through that, that's totally okay. You get all of this forever for $25 a month, including with your database, which I love. The database was so cool. For me, my favorite thing about it that I was the most excited is the fact that I'm a Pisces and I have ADHD, and I am not the most organized person on the planet. And I have so many photos of horses on my phone. I have so many. And the amount of times that I'm like, oh yeah, like let me go through, or I go out and I see the horse again and I'm like, shoot, I need to go back and find the photo when I worked on them 4 months ago, and like we can compare and we can put it all together. Now I have a place that all of that's in one spot. I love it. I'm so excited about it. It's so easy. It's so user-friendly. It was a happy accident that it ended up being an app. We had built the database to just be a thing online. For those of you that have done cohorts with me and sessions and all the different things, we've always had to do things via Google Docs, which like it works. Massive pain in the ass. But it does work, but it's not the best organized. It's kind of frustrating. There's passwords and then links get like discontinued and it's cluttery and I don't know. So when we were going to do this pathway thing, we're like, okay, if we're going to certify horses and we're going to take people through the levels as much as they want to go, we've got to have a way to track it. And it's got to be something that like I don't hate. And so we've spent the last year building this database. And then when we got it built, we found out it could be an app. And I was like, oh my God, that's going to be so easy for people. So you have a really easy place to track your horse. You have notes. You can have as many horses in there as you want. There's no limit to the horses, which I love. So really good for like trainers, even massage therapists. Like if you want to go through and just be like, hey, here's my before and after. Here's how this horse is going. Very easy to progress. And then of course you can log in on that and it links you back over here. So if you're just like, man, what was that thing? Like, what was the nerve in this one thing? You can hop on your app. It links you over to here. You can go to the nerve compression lesson or go to the nerve compression ebook and just scroll through and you just find it. So we really tried to make this like as comprehensive and easy and simple as possible because it, like, in my heart of hearts, everything that's in this particular thing, like this new pathway, like every person that has a horse should go through this and know it. These are things that a lot of veterinarians don't talk about. It's a lot of things that a lot of diagnostic issues happen. It's a lot of things that farriers don't know. Like the amount of times I have to go to bat for farriers and say, hey, it's not actually your farrier's fault. Like your horse, the way that your horse is organizing itself against gravity is making their job impossible. But the farrier doesn't have the words. They know they're doing a good job, but they're like, gosh, like I just don't understand. I got you, boo. Like we go into explaining so many of those things and it's just stuff that everybody should know. And I wanted so badly to make it as affordable as possible. So when we built this out and we built out the database and like I have to pay a lot of money for Mighty Networks and it was not cheap to build a database and it's not cheap to do all the monthly things, but like we dialed it all down and we're like, okay, what's the cheapest we could sell this for people so that like I barely make a profit, but everything's covered and we can actually open this up to people. And we came up with like $25 a month. And I was like, I think that's doable. So $25 a month, you guys get all this as long as you want it. And it's me. So I'm just going to continue growing this because I can't not, because I'm obsessed. My curiosity is endless and I'm obsessed with this work. I'm obsessed with the results. I'm obsessed with helping people. And I am more than anything obsessed with giving back to the horses. And I just, so sorry. I'm a mom and my daughter's calling. My sweet little daughter that I love so much. You guys will see her in Zooms. You guys will hear all kinds of interruptions, but I really, really, really hope that all of this just gives you everything that you need. And I'm so proud of it. Hi. Speaking of you, I was just talking about you. You guys say hi? Hi. Yeah. She goes, nobody. Anyway, bye. Well, I hope you guys enjoy. If you have any questions, we have support. You can ask questions on the bottom of all of the lessons, I think, which is really cool. And if you haven't been in the Facebook group yet, that's a really cool place too, because you can get into the Facebook group. Currently, we're at a little bit less than 5,000 members. And there's been 5 years of just cool juice in there. So you can get in there, you can search kissing spines, you can search ECVM, you can search pillar 1, pillar 2, pillar 3. You can find example videos. That's the other thing that I really love about the Facebook community too. You can post any of your attempts in there for free and you get free feedback from the trainers forever, which I love. So use it, use us. We want to help you. If you run into anything, you can also book lessons really easy off of the app as well. I'm sure there's 5,000 things that I'm forgetting, but there's the bones of it. I love this stuff and I hope you do too. So we'll see ya.